How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to On The Ball. Welcome back to another round of Premier League predictions. A bit of a smaller round this week. There's only 7 fixtures due to the FA Cup, but you will have another bonus round midweek. As you can see, the scores is 377 to 368 in Sim's favour. The way the scoring works, it is 5 points for a completely correct scoreline, 1 point for a correct result, and the star man, once you pick that man, you can't pick them again for the rest of the season. 5 points for a goal, 2 points for an assist, and let's get into the weekend's action. A lot of big games down at the bottom this weekend, starting off with Luton against Brentford, and Sim's gone for 2-2.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big game for Luton. They really need to get 3 points in this one. Considering Everton are playing Forest, what an opportunity it is to claw back some points on one of those two teams. And obviously Brentford coming into this game in, decent form performance-wise, not really results-wise, but they did win their last game against Sheffield United 2-0. They are unbeaten in 4, but 3 of those games have been draws. But I've been fairly impressed with Brentford recently. I think they've shown a lot of fight, and obviously they came back from 2-0 down against Villa a couple of weeks ago as well. So they're fighting for Thomas Frank, they're fighting for their safety, and I think they're pretty much there, 7 points clear. And I think maybe with that pressure off them, that they've got a bit of a gap now, they might start to get some results. But I think Luton are absolutely clawing tooth and nail for every single point. And they had a really good result last time out. Sorry, not last time out. It wasn't against City, but their last home game against Bournemouth were 1-0 down and turned it around late on, got a really great win. So I can't separate these teams. I think it's going to be a game where there's going to be chances at both ends. Luton can't defend, but Brentford can't seem to get wins at the moment. So I've just gone for 2-2.
Yeah, I feel like with Luton with home advantage this weekend, they're always a hard team to play against at Kenilworth Road. And now when points are coming at a premium at this stage of the season, I feel like Luton are just going to put every single little bit of effort that they have into this game. But I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. You've got Brentford with the likes of Wissa, Tony, if he's going to play. You've got Mbuemo there. You've got good players there for Brentford that can catch any team out on their day. And I think that that's what's going to happen. And I feel like you said, they're going to cancel each other out a little bit. And I think that maybe Brentford might take the lead and you'll see a late rally from Luton to get back into the game or something like that. But a draw this weekend, which, is it going to be a point gained, or is it going to be 2 points dropped in terms of the relegation fight? We'll have to wait and see. But I've gone for 1-1. Sim's gone for 2-2. Let's move on to another game down at the bottom, and it's Sheffield United against Burnley. Two teams that are all but down, really, unless something magical can happen. We've both gone for Burnley to win this weekend. I've gone for 2-1. I can see Burnley having all the possession, going forward, trying to attack, trying to hurt Sheffield United, and I can see them doing that, but I feel that they will leave a bit too much space out the back, and I can see Sheffield United scoring a goal here, but I feel like Burnley will take the spoils.
Yeah, Burnley, I think, again, another team similar to Brentford, playing quite well at the moment, but not getting the results they should be. And obviously their goalkeeper, Muric, I wonder if Trafford comes back into this game, because he's cost them with 2 really awful mistakes in the past couple of weeks, which you can't really legislate for if you're Vincent Kompany. Without those mistakes, they'll probably be in a really great position. They could maybe even have climbed out the relegation zone with a win this weekend if they would have got the points they should have in the last 2 weeks. Obviously, Sheffield United showing a bit of fight, but I just think Burnley have a bit more about them. They've shown a bit more defensive solidity the last few weeks as well, not conceding as many goals as they were maybe in the early parts of the season. So I've gone for them to be a bit tighter, and I think for the 4 players they have, they've got a bit of quality. They can break down Sheffield United. So I've gone for them to only scrape it 1-0. And if they do win, especially with Forest playing Everton, it really puts them back in amongst things.
Yeah, at the moment, 5 points behind Luton, 6 points behind Forest, and 7 points behind Everton. And with the way Burnley are playing, I would say Burnley are probably playing better than Forest and Everton at the moment. So,
a win would put them potentially 3 points behind one of Everton or Forest, and then they've got Luton. I think they're playing Luton. They've got Luton. Everton play Luton as well in a couple of weeks. So it's not all over for Burnley if they get a win. If they can't beat Sheffield United, though, that's it for them, surely.
Yeah, it's imperative for them to get 3 points. If not, then I think they're down pretty much this weekend. So what a massive game it is for Burnley, and Sheffield United obviously just playing for pride probably at this point. We move on. Wolves against Arsenal at Molineux. Sim's gone for 2-1 to Arsenal.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really tight game. Obviously, Arsenal there's been a bit of a downturn last couple of weeks, really poor results, and I would say poor performances, especially second half against Villa and second half against Bayern. Obviously not easy games, but the way Arsenal have been playing leading up to those games, you'd expect them to have put in a much better performances, and maybe things seem to be getting to them a bit. They are obviously facing a Wolves team who are difficult to play against, especially at Molineux, but they're not in the best of form. No wins in their last 4, but they do probably play a kind of style which is maybe set up to frustrate an Arsenal side who haven't really been creating too many chances in the last couple of games, and Havertz and Jesus haven't really been doing it in the forward line. Saka's been struggling as well. With Hwang Hee-chan and Cunha back for Wolves, they do provide some threat, but I just feel like Arsenal will need a reaction in this game, and I don't see a pretty performance, but I see one of those like professional away games where they just get the job done, take a 2-1 lead and move on.
Arsenal goal.
Yeah, something like set piece, goal from a corner. I think it won't be pretty, but I can see Arsenal just scraping it.
Yeah, I've actually gone for 2-2 in this game. I'm looking at the way Arsenal are playing now compared to how they've been playing since the turn of the year. I mean, since January, February, March, they look more or less unbeatable, are not conceding any chances. And now in these last 3 games, there seems to be a pattern happening. Defensive errors cost them a game at home to Bayern, at home to Aston Villa as well. Not a bad first half performance, but completely let their standards slip in the second half. Away to Bayern as well, not bad in the first half, let their standards slip in the second half. And I feel like they're imploding a little bit now in this back end of the season, like they did last April. And with Wolves getting their players back with Hwang Hee-chan, Cunha, I see them having a really big opportunity to hit Arsenal on the break. I think Arsenal will have all the possession, but we all know Wolves at home against the top sides usually do perform well and do get the results. So I see something happening this weekend, and I've gone for 2-2 Wolves against Arsenal, which will be a dreadful result for Arsenal in terms of the title race, seeing as no teams in the title race are, well, I think Liverpool are playing this weekend, but not Man City. So without Man City, the leaders playing this weekend, and Arsenal to drop points, I think that will be pretty detrimental to them. And is what it is. What can I say? But let's move on to Everton against Nottingham Forest. Both of us gone for the exact same scoreline here in 1-1. What are you thinking with this one?
Yeah, obviously massive game for both sides. 16th versus 17th. Both teams absolutely desperate for a win here, and I think that fear for both teams losing will lead to both teams not going all out for the win. I think a loss is so detrimental. If they both can get a point on the board, keep themselves ticking over ahead of Luton, I mean, it won't be a good result for either side, but at least they won't give the advantage to each other. And I think it's a must-not-lose situation for either side as well. As much as they want 3 points, Everton are just in such bad form. Obviously, a terrible performance against Chelsea last time out, 6-0. So they want to stop that kind of performance ever happening again. Sean Dyche was bewildered by what kind of performance he showed. Nottingham Forest, on the other hand, were leading against, I think it was Wolves last time out, and they ended up drawing 2-2. So they'll be frustrated they didn't take 3 points. So I think both teams will be a bit scared of losing here, so I've gone for 1-1.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I think both teams are just going to do their best not to lose this game. I think when you're looking at the form coming into it, you know, Nottingham Forest are on the better form, only lost 1 game in their last 5. Everton, on the other hand, they did have 2 positive results against Newcastle and against Burnley, albeit it was pretty much handed to them from Burnley. And then to follow that up with a win and a draw, a 6-0 loss at Stamford Bridge in a very toothless display, probably the worst that they've played all season. You would expect a reaction from Sean Dyche's men this weekend. And I just feel like, once again, down at the bottom, they're just going to both play not to lose, and they're just going to cancel each other out a little bit. But if you have to press me on a winner and someone had to win this game, I'll probably just side with Nottingham Forest. But seeing as it is at Goodison, I'm just going to go play it a bit safer and go for 1-1.
What I would say is Luton play a day before, and if they do win, and obviously if they win, that puts Forest in the relegation zone, and obviously it actually puts them above Everton as well with a win. So I do think if Luton do grab a win, that changes the dynamic of this game completely, because then all of a sudden you can't be scared of the draw because you're in the relegation zone. You need that win. You can't really afford to. So it'll be very interesting if Luton do grab that win on Saturday.
Well, we'll have to see how it all pans out, but we move on to Villa Park. It's Aston Villa against Bournemouth. Villa obviously got European exploits this week against Lille. I'm not sure if it's away from home.
Away in France, yeah.
So it's obviously a big tie for them, taking a 2-1 lead from Villa Park out to France tonight. Bournemouth, on the other hand, you know, on fairly good form. I've gone for Villa to win this one 2-1. I just feel like yes, I know they got Europe and it will probably be quite a taxing game for them, but I just feel like at home against a Bournemouth side that might play into their hands a little bit. I just feel like Villa will just about do enough to get the result. I don't see it being a great game, but I just feel like Villa will just about do enough just to get the points.
I feel like this is the kind of game Villa can slip up in, especially their home form has deserted them a bit in the new year, to be honest. They're on really, really poor form at home. They can't seem to keep leads at home as well. And obviously, Bournemouth are on really good form at the moment, playing really well. One of the form teams in the league. I know the last 2 games they haven't won. Got a decent draw against United last time out, which they really should have won that game as well. They've got the forward line, Solanke, Cliver, potentially Semenyo, to really hurt that Villa high line. And I can see a really entertaining game because I think Villa, obviously buoyed by that really great win at the Emirates, but I feel like they're up their game for that one. And in this one, they're expected to win. The pressure's on them. They're going to have a taxing game on Thursday night, and I just feel like this Bournemouth side is not the kind of team you want to be coming up against. An intense team who like to attack you. They're not going to let up in this kind of game, I think, Bournemouth. And I think they're going to come into this game with confidence. So I see an entertaining open game, and I've just gone for 2-2 here.
All right. Next up is Crystal Palace against West Ham. We've both come to the same scoreline in 1-0 to Crystal Palace. And on the back of that unbelievable result for Crystal Palace at Anfield, I've gone for the exact same scoreline as they did at Liverpool at 1-0 to West Ham. West Ham are such a weird team because like one week they're just absolutely terrible. The next week they'll get a good result. But I feel this weekend with Crystal Palace taking what they did at Anfield into this game in front of their home fans, I think the defensive solidity from Oliver Glasner is starting to shine through a little bit, and they're starting to gel a bit as a team as well. So I feel like they're going to stifle West Ham and just get the odd goal.
Yeah, and they've got Eze and Olise back together again as well, which is so crucial for how Palace want to play because they just add that little bit of extra quality, that little X factor, which they've been missing without Olise. So I think that's a big advantage for Palace at home as well. At Selhurst Park, it's going to be very difficult for West Ham to find that kind of space they like to play. They like to find as well. Obviously, a really great win last time out, so that'll give Glasner confidence that hopefully his team is moving in the right direction because obviously he got the win in his first game, but then haven't won since then. But then they got that win at Anfield, so really timely boost for Crystal Palace. And I think it's going to be very, very difficult for West Ham, especially playing Leverkusen on Thursday. That's going to take a lot of energy out of them as well. So I just see them running out of energy here. So I've gone for 1-0 to Palace.
Next up, Fulham against Liverpool at Craven Cottage. Sim's gone for 2-2 here.
Yeah, Fulham got a good home record and they're very, very difficult to play against. And these are the kind of games they like against the Liverpool side who are going to go at them. They're going to throw men forward, and Fulham like to play on the counter. They like to explore that space. They're quite good at doing that at home as well. And I feel like with Liverpool, I guess a lot depends on Thursday. If they perform a miracle and turn it around on Thursday, maybe they can take that momentum into this game. But I do have a bit of a feeling that I wouldn't say they're falling apart, but when things were going against them against United, things went against them against Atalanta on the Europa League, things went against them against Palace. And when they're starting to miss those chances, I do worry for them that their belief is starting to seep away. And as I say, if they can turn it around against Atalanta, maybe that they can get that belief back. But if they go out on Thursday without giving it a proper fight, I do wonder whether that they can keep up those energy levels, which is so crucial for Liverpool to get wins here. And I just got a feeling if they do go out, that negative feeling will start to seep in, and I can see them dropping points again here on Sunday. So I went for 2-2.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because Liverpool's last 3 games at Craven Cottage have all resulted in draws. They haven't won at Craven Cottage since back in 2019. Yeah, Fulham have been down the Championship in that time as well. But you're looking at Liverpool's form, they're just not on great form by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously lost at home in the Europa League 3-0 to Atalanta, lost at home to Crystal Palace as well, which, look, let's be honest, they should have won that game with the amount of chances that they did have. But look, this is going to be a very, very difficult game for Liverpool at Craven Cottage. Fulham always perform against the big clubs at Craven Cottage, more or less getting a result most times as well. They beat Tottenham there, they beat Arsenal there, they took Liverpool to the wire as well in the cup. But I just feel that because of what this game means for Liverpool and what this game means for Fulham, I just feel like Liverpool will pull something out of their back pocket here. I see it being a very difficult game, but I just see Liverpool just doing enough to get it over the line. And I think they'll continue to create the chances, and I feel like they will put a couple away. and keep Fulham at bay to the most part. So I've gone for 2-1 to Liverpool. We move on to the star men, and Sim's gone for Fofana of Burnley.
Yeah, I expect him to start, albeit I've actually been looking at his past few performances. He has been taken off around the hour mark, so I hope that doesn't happen again. But I think away at Sheffield United, I think there's a good chance he's going to be picking up some chances here, and I think he's quite a good player in front of goal. So I think he's been quite a decent loan signing for Burnley, and I've gone for him in this one.
Yeah, I went for Fofana, but seeing as we can't pick the same star man and Sim got his predictions in first, I had to change it. So I've gone for Eberechi Eze of Crystal Palace. Obviously got the goal at Anfield last weekend, and this weekend against the West Ham side who's got European exploits, I feel it could be a few tired legs for West Ham. And if Palace, we both predicted 1-0, but it could more than likely be more goals for Crystal Palace in it this weekend. And I think Eze will be central to everything that Palace do going forward, whether it be goals or assists. So I've gone for Eberechi Eze. Sim's gone for Fofana. Let me know who you think is going to come out on top this week. Let me know your predictions and star men in the comment section below. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll see you next time.